I'm calling it An End to Academic Credentialism. So it's a highly visual presentation, so I'll not be walking along on the stage. I want you to focus on the visuals out there. This appeared in the news in 2010. Zoho students can teach Microsoft a lesson or two. And then we have Decoding Zoho's Success, appeared in 2013. This appeared yesterday, actually. An informal school that gives students from underprivileged backgrounds. This came today, Challenging Conventional Wisdom with Zoho University. Is Zoho the future of enterprise software? And this is actually talked about as developers at Zoho's office in Ramapuram is actually flawed. This is Zoho University today. This is a room, a photograph from Zoho's University class in session. Come on, no developers will sit like this, right? What comes to mind when you look at this picture? Got it right? So this is the Pandavas. So right in the middle is Bhima, and he's carrying 4 of his brothers and his mother. It actually is from a book by Devdutt Patnaik. You must have heard of or read this book. This is the book I am reading to my son. And when I read to him, he comes up with the obvious, natural question of a millennium teenager. He asks me, come on, 5 people at one time? Is he carrying them all? Right? That was the least of the mythological, legendary things you hear about in the Mahabharata anyway. So I love this book specifically because this is the 4th or the 5th Mahabharata I'm actually reading. I've read Tamil ones, I've read ones in English, the Sanskrit original, and this English one. The special part about this book is it relates to you. It understands that you are not the old-timer who just believes what you read, and you have a rationalistic approach to things. You question. So every chapter has a footnote, a box, an information box, so to speak, where he kind of tells you, this could be because at that time they were following this ritual, right? For example, one woman marrying 5 guys, there's an explanation for it. So that is going to be my approach today as we go through a long slideshow of interesting things that you must have heard of about Zoho University. I'm going to try and take a rationalistic approach, perhaps an outsider's in point of view, and tell you about our crusade against academic credentialism, how it works, yeah, but more importantly, why I think it works. If we were using Showtime, I would have asked you to watch out for this flag. So every few slides, you would get a flag like this, and you will heart a slide, like a slide, and tell me that you want to know more about that slide. And I would get instant feedback, and I would actually prolong my story on that slide. Otherwise, I'll just pass on. But this time, because we're not using Showtime, and we are running out of time, I'll just look at your faces. Probably you can raise your hands. If there is a slide that goes by that's interesting, that's puzzling, that's unbelievable, I'm here to do what Devdutt does in that book. I'm here to tell you a little bit more so that you will get a little more clarity on what's on the slide. Let's get started. Way back in 2004, we watered 3 seeds: a philosophy, a realization, a necessity and a realization. Let's look at what each of these is. We have been hearing about Zohos Philosophy for the past 2 days, so I wouldn't want to drum this in further. The philosophy was about academic credentials and how irrelevant they have become in this new age of software. But we ran a poll in 2004 when we were about 1,000, 1,500 strong. We ran a poll in our company, and we asked them all. It was an anonymous poll in our intranet. How useful do you find college education for your current role in the company? As a software engineer, as a marketing person, as a designer, as a writer, how relevant do you see your BSc or your BCA, MCA, BE, MS, BTech? How relevant do you find it? The results came in. It was really useful, 20% of them wrote. That was about another 25%. But the majority of them were about how they found it either irrelevant or a waste of time, or sometimes they even said the college was good, but I tooled around. It was a comment on the system itself. Move on to the necessity. That's the second situation we faced. Remember, this was our first logo. In fact, I designed it using paintbrush, and this was designed by Sridhar Vembu, I think, the Advenet logo, using paintbrush again. Yeah? MS Paint, paintbrush, MS Paint. And that was the company we were talking about. So obviously, we can't be expecting the tier 1 colleges to come to us. No IITs, no IIMs. We couldn't just go on first day placements at any of these universities. Nor could we actually depend on anything other than just word of mouth, friends and relatives. In fact, 25 to 30, 40% of our employees knew each other, second level, third level, first level, right? That's how we expanded our network. Like Sridhar said, the first unknown person to join us was Sridhar Iyengar. And of course, we couldn't get only the city colleges. We had to move beyond the cities. We had to go to suburban, other rural colleges and technical institutes. And then the realization. What do you think could be the natural, obvious resultant realization when we got students from these kinds of colleges? The realizations were, the managers started wondering, did he learn anything at all at college? Right? That was the question in their minds. When will she start being productive? Right? She is joined. It's 6 months already. I can't let her write code that will go live tomorrow. No way. Right? So we are faced with these three, the triumvirate of problems. So, but before that, why do you think those realizations happened? This is from Quora. The question was, how are students in Indian universities taught programming? This question is still live, which actually means 10 years later, nothing much has changed. Here is a selection of answers from that Quora question. We were taught programs, not programming. This actually happened. When I showed this to a friend, yes, this is exactly what happened in my college, was what I was told. And even worse, lecturers become lecturers only when they couldn't become software engineers. And this final year project thing has become a sham, right? Browsing centers have now rechristened themselves as project completion experts. Happens. So that is still valid. I took these answers yesterday. The syllabus, largely outdated. Python and Java are never even taught. So the 3 seeds again. I'll just explain the idea of that flag. So that flag was supposed to mean that there is something more to it. And if you had all said, hey, I'd like to know more, I would actually be saying, actually, those are biased answers I picked. There were many students who had responded to this Quora question that things have changed. At IIT or at the Madras Institute of Technology, we are learning Haskell and so on. That's just the counterpoint. Moving on. 3 seeds were watered, like I said. One is the philosophy, whether credentialism. The other is the necessity, where do we get our talent? And the third, is that what we were looking for? So when we are faced with this problem, and this problem doesn't seem to be going away anywhere, we immediately start looking at, hey, some wisdom, please. Let's get some spark of an idea, right? So we started looking at some spark. Will somebody trigger this forward? One way was to actually do more and more of what we were doing. We could go and tell our HR, hey, cast the net wider, or make the interview process harder, and so on. But there was this one guy with a very funny hairstyle who said, the same thoughts that led us to these problems cannot obviously give us their solutions. And there's this other guy with equally funny hairstyle, father of our nation. He said, be the change. So we decided, let's start an experiment. Let's start something small. Thoughts might be big, but let's start something small. So what did we do? We went to a nearby school. We were at Velachery at that time in Chennai, a suburb. We went to the government higher secondary school at Velachery. We gave an interview a test to all these students, but only those who didn't have many other options, like engineering college or medical or other things already slotted down. Only those who even took the test. It was a basic aptitude test. I'll give you some sample questions later. You can try them too. We picked 5 students. We assigned 2 teachers to them. And we gave them training in 3 subjects, just 3. We thought for a software career, these 3 were vitally important. Everything else could actually be learned along the way. So we focused on English. We focused on mathematics, fundamental basic mathematics, not college level. And we focused on computer programming, not computer science. 10 years fast forward, today, what do we find? Where are we? Take a sampling again. I'll be showing a lot of names. The names are all having an asterisk next to them. They are we are protecting the privacy of these names. But the rest of the information is true. Son of a mechanic, Vikash, is now a systems administrator, earning that much. Prema is a silversmith's daughter. She's an iPhone app developer. In fact, she helped develop the viewer app that you're all using. Anbarasu is the son of a clerk. He's a team manager for a product vertical. And Charles, he's the son of a cottage business owner. He's our webmaster. Every time the agenda changes, the app crashes, the things change, right? The timing of a particular slot changes. He is fixing it back there. So we must have done something right. So let's take a quick story. It's a slideshow, image after image. So let's just look at the story of Sri Lata. She's a typical conservative rural girl. This is her backyard, her mom and dad, her school photograph. 4 of them came into Zoho University from this photograph. So she gives the exam at her school. It's a written test. You will actually see that each of these exams are bilingual. There is English and there is a Tamil version of it. We even did other South Indian vernaculars. And there is an interview. The interview is actually longer than the test because we believe that face-to-face interaction gets things out once we put them at ease. And she's in class. There are multiple kinds of classes. This is a theory session happening right here. And then there's a practical session. The more important part of this photograph is she's not doing work. She's actually helping her colleague do work. That was one of the most powerful learning opportunities these students got. Collaborate, not compete, collaborate. The project manager who has been interacting with this student along the way comes in and says, hey, I would like to take you into my team as an intern 9 months down the line. She must have by that time shown some interest, some additional interest in some particular field. It could be back-end programming, it could be JavaScript, it could be visual design, it could be just writing. Each of these managers spot this talent, come down, meet these people, interact with them, identify, and then actually file a request for that resource because it's a big demand to get a resource. And then based on the company's own priority of products, a person gets assigned to a particular product manager. Further counseling in all kinds of aspects, like it's not just conceptual, academic counseling, it's even emotional counseling. It's also about how to handle money. It's about how to handle love, right? People get, this is the teenage, 18 to 22. Right? How to handle all these things get counseled along the way. And then a year and a half later, 18 months later, the HR department comes over and gives you your offer letter. Right? That's the way it's been working. There is fun, indoors. That's Sridhar Vembu dancing with a lot of them in our recent Big Bash. And there is outdoors fun too. Some statistics, quick. We'll look at some numbers. This is how Zoho University has grown over the past 10 years. Those numbers, that's the size of the organization. But more important than that are the 2 numbers I'm going to show you now. On the left is how the Zoho University student community has been growing. Because remember, An alumnus never leaves. He continues in the organization, continues helping these students along the way, working with students. Good question. The blue signifies boys. The yellow, I didn't want to use pink, signifies girls. So 6 students and 2 faculty. The red will indicate the faculty growth. 18, 35, 58, 79, 123, 179, 231, 279, 345. We now have a 345 strong Zoho University community at our organization, manned by 6 faculty. That is Professor B. Rajendran. In fact, all of you must have already heard this 15% story, this 300 story. So I'm going to put a new twist to it. I checked with HR this afternoon, and it is true. He is the single most voluminous principal to have produced the maximum number of students who are employees at Zoho. No other university, academic like IIT or Anna University or Karnataka Engineering College or whatever, no other single university, educational organization has produced more employees for Zoho than this man and his university. Let's look at some further statistics. This is the gender split. Men, women, boys, girls. Most of these are self-explanatory. If you see a flag, raise your hand, I can tell you more. Prior education, we took students both from the class 12 entry point and from the diploma, that is 10+3 entry point. We didn't go for colleges. We tried to catch them young at the class 12 level. 20 is the upper limit age cutoff. Locality. Cities versus rural communities. Equal. First gen learners. You have a question about it? What's the flag about? Okay. So the thing is, most of these people who come in, it's like a marriage with that school. Once that school's pathway is open, batch after batch, year after year, they start sending us kids. And in the early stages, we couldn't really break through into a Padma Seshadri or an equivalent high-end topper school. So we decided to go where the talent was interested in joining us. You must have heard of that philosophy too already, right? So it wasn't ever a dearth of talent. They were everywhere. The kids were everywhere. We just had to go and look. And this also was a follow-up of, a side effect of we getting our employees from such rural colleges. They started saying, I have a maid servant who has a daughter who is actually smart, but they are trying to discontinue her education because they don't have money. Do you have an opening? So we started getting more and more such connections. First gen learners, that is, their parents have dropped out of school at 5, class 5 or 10, PUC. Don't know how to even sign their names, right? Look at the number of people who are first gen learners. Any guesses? 50-50, 75-25? 70% of them are first gen learners out of the 345 people. Graduate parent, of course, much smaller. It's 90-10. Prior medium of instruction, where did they study? Did they study in a Tamil medium school or an English medium school or probably even Kannada or Telugu or Malayalam medium school? This is a 60-40 bridge. So it really helped that we gave these question papers in multiple languages. When we actually translated the question paper into Tamil, the number of applicants who finished the exam doubled. Right? So the problem is not in the problem, but in the statement of it. Exposure to computers. Guess. You're surprised. You're going to be surprised. You mean 95% didn't have a computer exposure? Yeah? Any other guesses? 55% ticked that they know computers. But you know what? That's what we were told. That's what my son was told at school. You're going to be taught. This is exactly what happened. Seriously, this is what happened. right? He still uses a 1996 book that still talks about how to connect to the internet using a dial-up modem. Yeah? And that's a 10-mark question. Monthly income. The baseline is 15,000 per month. I just set up as a baseline because I could get some meaningful data. 85% of them are 15,000 or lesser per month earning families. Think about that. The moment we start giving them their first stipend, they become a sizable fraction salary earner of their family. Instantly their social repute goes up. Their life changes. Question? Did I have a flag? I have a flag.
So you pay stipend as well?
We will come to that. Yes, we pay a stipend. The current stipend is 8,000 rupees per month. And not just that, we give them much more. I'll come to that. Thanks. There have been some not so greats, of course, there have been some not so greats. We have Chitra Bai. What did she do? She just was much slower than the others. We couldn't slow things down so much to her that the other students will lose interest. We did try our best. We counseled them. We counseled her family. But she just dropped out. We had to actually ask her to leave. She's doing well, though. She's working in an export organization now. But we couldn't continue our relationship. Subhash. He got his bets covered because he finished his 12th standard. He went for this engineering entrance exam. And then he also sat for our exam. And he passed. He started attending class at Zoho University. And then his engineering college call came. He said, I'm going. My uncle from Dubai wants me to get a degree. Right? Anybody knows where TLA Engineering College is? 2-letter acronym Engineering College, KR Engineering College, PK Engineering College. Rahulan, this happened twice to us. His dream was to become a music director. We couldn't help him, unfortunately. We said, Zoho, Zoho is not up to playing tunes yet, so sorry. And Naseem, this was the most unfortunate case of all. This woman, I don't know if it's because of a Muslim background, conservative bringing up or whatever, but her parents came and pulled her out, saying she's going to be getting married soon. Her husband is earning lesser. She had to leave. She has just stopped doing anything productive, yeah, perhaps, but productive, seriously. There have been, okay, I hit the name, right, so I can make a joke. Yeah. There have been some really great ones too. Look at this. Ramesh, he was actually last in class. He was supposed to be actually, hey, call your mom and dad, we want to counsel them. Looks like it's time for you to leave, kind of person. The moment we introduced projects at Zoho University, when the project manager came and said, hey, I am now understanding that you know all these things. How about you do a small product prototype on this, and if you do it well, I'll take you into my team. When that happened, it was like almost a spark. A fire was lit. This guy just blazed through since then. Parashuram. Exact case of the right place at the right time. This guy was there. He took risks. He grabbed opportunities. He's now a team manager, managing many people, among them engineering graduates and Zoho University students. Vidhu. This is interesting. He started as a programmer. He quit saying, I got a job in a startup somewhere, spent a year or so there, came back, joined us as a visual designer. He's doing well. So basically goes to say how much even Zoho University's academic credentialism matters, perhaps. It's about the person's attitude and aptitude for it more than anything we actually teach them. Tamarai. This is interesting. She was a high-scoring class 12 student, non-computer science, but 1,100 or something out of 1,200. She came in and wrote the exam saying, I want to do something different. And she's in the frameworks team now, creating new programming languages for Zoho's next generation software to run on. Sridhar referred. Yes, but that will kind of hijack this conversation. I'll tell you who they are. I'll call all the Zoho University students once the program is done. Okay? Thanks. Don't ask me to map Tomarai to. Okay. So, Sridhar was talking about this a security guard. I immediately decided I can't let him talk that, right? This is my story. So this is Arif Ali and this is Modi Sultan. And I asked Zoho University faculty to write a short mail to me. Hey, tell me. I know they are starred names. They are starred names. I have changed the names. Yeah. So this is the mail I got from Zoho University yesterday. You can read it a moment. I'll give you time. Zoho Reports is all about creating charts. Move on. Academically much better than him at Assam and had to discontinue his studies for want of funds. We sponsored his travel here. He's currently in the 27th batch. That's interesting. These two boys have proved that we have actually crossed that Tamil language barrier too. So let's go through some reasons why I think this works. We are now in the why mode. The first thing is there are no exams. We don't have a monthly test, a weekly test, or a spot test, and we ask them to all sit in line. Do not copy from the next person. Finish this in 45 minutes. No. But the flag says, this makes it a continuous examination. They are always, whether in the corridor, whether at lunch, whether they are sitting in class, what spot they choose in class, who they interact with, which project they have picked up, what websites do they visit. It's a continuous exam, constantly watched, evaluated, so to speak. The teachers are software engineers. They applied to Zoho before Zoho University was born and became team members. Then, out of their own interest in teaching, in spreading the knowledge that they have accumulated, they became teachers. That is a very, very important point. They are not those lecturers who couldn't find a job at Infosys or TCS. The alumni strength, like I said, grows indefinitely. It is not like all of us here who were college students 10 years, 20 years, 5 years ago. And have you ever had any other interaction with your college or friends from college? Right? The 10th year reunion mails would have come perhaps. But beyond that, these students on the other hand interact constantly. It's almost like there is a mentorship model. These senior students teach them more than the faculty themselves have been able to teach. Good and bad. The syllabus is revised twice a year. Technology is changing at a breakneck speed. If you don't change with it, your neck will be broken. Right? But that's what is happening. I am still seeing computer science books with copyright 2001. 14 years, nothing has changed. Let us see Yashwant Kanetkar, anybody? Right? No. Python has been removed from our main curriculum. We have moved to Go. Right? And we are soon going to teach our own programming language. They learn more of what they need and less of what they don't need. So we don't teach them integral calculus. We don't know. Yeah. Right? We teach them mathematics. We teach them algebra. We teach them problem solving. We teach them how to communicate in English. We teach them computer science for programming purposes, to create an architecture, to create software that people would love to use. That's never taught, by the way. No computer science graduate is ever taught how important information architecture, visual design, form design is important, how important it is in a product. English is taught, but not grammar. We don't. Okay. I'll go faster. You don't choose a career, the career chooses you, because the project managers interact with you early in time. They find out, they hit spot, they have Zoho University alumni already who are interacting with these students and understand it. We give them 24/7 internet access. Think about that for a moment. They are always one tap away from Google. They are also just one tap away from Twitter and Facebook, which is why that's banned. It's a Wi-Fi friendly environment. Students mingle freely with alumni and other employees, right? They have lunches together, they go out on team interactions, they play TT and carom board together. In fact, the inter-team, intra-company cricket match tournament, last year, the Zoho University students took the cup. Obviously, they are young, they are strong, they are still in touch with cricket, they don't have bellies, right? But we can't help it, we have to compete with them. Oh yeah, the flag says this mingling has led to many marriages too. Yeah. Many Zoho University employees have fell in love with marrying. And you start by earning, not paying. To answer his question, they are being paid 8,000 rupees per month. The typical Fourier transform a college student goes through is this. You start paying money to the college, and it keeps increasing every year. Finally, at project time, you do a lot of payments, and that's when you hope you'll get a job that will slowly start helping you pay your loan. On the other hand, what does the Zoho University student go through? That's what he goes through. What does the Zoho University student go through? He starts at 8,000 bucks, keeps stepping up after every terminal evaluation, and goes on, and soon joins the point where the engineering graduate hopes to join. Right? What makes it tick? Individual attention and computer time. We give them individual attention, we give them a computer, the faculty are always available to interact with them. That's hard to find in colleges. We recruit them based on the project they do, not on an interview or a test. They are given a project, a mini project, based on how well they have done the project, together or alone, they are evaluated and taken into teams. They are truly flipped classrooms. You must have had that question. The faculty strength grew to 6 when the student strength grew to 345. That's because we have adopted the Khan Academy set standard of flipped classrooms, where students sit in a group environment, discuss, plan, decide, make mistakes, learn from them, while the teacher benevolently watches from the back. Right? He is ready to help, he is ready to mentor at all times, but he is not the driver of the show. Right? The flipped classroom concept. Mentors on call for guidance and counseling, both senior students and employees and our HR department and the university faculty itself available on call. It's self-paced learning, unlike where in a college environment where every semester you have to finish this grade before you move on to the next one. It's self-paced. You do at your own pace. At any particular time in a Zoho University class, one person could be doing an English assignment, while the one next to him could be doing a maths assignment, while 2 others could be huddled up on debugging a particular program that they have been asked to write at their own pace. And this is most important. They are genuinely interested. They came knowing what they are getting into. They were not pushed by that continuous flood after 10th, 12th, after 12th college, after college what. No, it's not that social familial pressure. Genuinely interested. They know they can actually get a degree outside. They know they can probably get better education outside in terms of academic standards. But the family, the faculty, the managers and the students are genuinely interested in. Again, most of these students are second chance people. They have slipped and fallen once. Probably they fell ill just before the final exam. The Central Board of Education is not that friendly. If you have fallen ill, if you miss the exam, gone. You miss out. 12 years of constantly improving education you might have had. But at that moment, if you had a slip, gone. You miss the opportunity, you miss the bus. But these guys, when they know that they have failed once, when they know that their parents are shelling out, they are sacrificing their careers to help you, they know that they have to do well. There is that fire inside. And finally, there is no stopping an idea whose time has come. There is this temple in Jamnagar. It's a temple, I refer to this whenever I look at this slide. It was, since 1964, it's holding a Guinness record. Anybody knows? It's Bajrang temple in Jamnagar. This temple is supposed to have a 24/7, 108 archana of Sri Ramajayam, continuously, non-stop, 24/7. So, do you think it'll ever stop? I don't think so. Because nobody would want to stop. It's overbooked 3 years ahead. It's something that's just got its own critical mass and momentum, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I'm going to move fast. I'm not going to tell you what these slides are. Let's have a short video. what does it all mean? It means that shift happens. So I'm going to take a quick minute to tell you how much Zoho University itself has changed its approach, its policies, its system in the past 10 years. So we have changed our stripes too. Let's look at all these parameters. We started with a fees of 0. We didn't charge anything. We said you're welcome to attend, no fees. That was quite radical at that time. But now we charge a fees of minus 8,000. Oh, I mean, we pay them 8,000 rupees per month. Over the years, we have been paying them 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, like inflation. Tests, we had tri-monthly tests. Every 3 months, we gave them tests. We thought we could do what Einstein did. No. Now we don't have any tests at all. It's self-evaluation. Core languages were C and C++ obviously long ago, but now we are moving to Python and Java. Free food, we started with lunch, but we now provide them breakfast, lunch, and dinner too, because most of these kids, particularly from outstation, they don't have enough money to actually even sponsor a breakfast. They used to come without breakfast and started getting ulcer problems. So we started giving them breakfast and dinner too. English was grammar oriented. Now we have made it conversational and functional. The manager involvement was very minimal at that time, but now managers have started going for interviews. They have started taking these HR teams to their native place and said, okay, I have this particular village where I was born and brought up. I think there are deserving students there. I think there can be some university products from there. We involve them early. Classrooms used to be small rooms, but now they are flipped classrooms completely. The learning paces used to be guided, but now it's completely self-paced. And we used to have it in Chennai. All the students used to come from Chennai, but now they have started coming in from other cities too. And not mentioned there is our satellite branch of Zoho University at Tenkasi too. We have a 30-student population there, run by one manager who is interested in teaching, and most other classes happen by Skype from Chennai. This is a photograph that I got yesterday. Many things have changed, but some things haven't changed. This is caught yesterday. An entrance exam is happening at this school. These are some sample questions that you're shown. A set of 3 numbers has an average of 8. What should be added to the set to make an average of 4 numbers 9? Things like that. So I'll stop with this. We are short of time. If you want, you can meet me outside later. Thanks.